Hey guys, welcome back to your Lake Fork Guide. We got a Guides Network episode today, and the man behind me is going to be talking about a awesome offshore fishing technique for summertime. We're going to talk about how to fish a hollow body swim bait on an open hook jig head. Some of you may have heard about or seen, I believe it was in 2014, the Toyota Texas Bass Classic. Those guys broke every fishing record there ever was on Lake Fork in the end of May, somewhere in there. And a lot of those guys were throwing deep diving crankbaits, but another thing they were all throwing was these open jig head, top hook style hollow belly swim baits. So today, Mr. Heath Taylor is going to break down that technique. This is the swim bait guru to end swim bait gurus. He makes them, he sells them, he fishes them, he lives them, he breathes them. I'm pretty sure they hang out under his pillow at night. Is that right?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. There you go. So y'all get your notepads out, pay close attention. Mr. Heath Taylor, come take it away, buddy.
All right, this is part of kind of my 1-2 approach usually when it gets hot in the summertime. One being Carolina rig bubble fry. Like I said, we know we always catch a lot of fish on that. I like throwing a swim bait. A lot of people think swim bait is a spring only bait. That's not the case. I hardly ever go fishing without at least one form of a swim bait tied on at all times. Usually there's 3 or 4 on my deck, and in the springtime I might have, as you've seen on prior videos, I might have what, 8 or 9?
Yeah, I think you had 9.
And so the only thing you change is how you fish them. Like I said, the lakes that I fish usually, summertime I'm not fishing in 5-6 foot of water like I do in the springtime. So when that happens, the fish move out 10, 15, 20 to 25 foot of water, and whether they're on bottom or suspended, an awesome way to catch them in the summer is with everybody has seen the hollow body, catching them on a belly weighted owner beast hook, and that's how traditionally everybody throws them. Well, the way to throw them in the summer is on an open hook jig head, and this one is that the 6 Sense Divine swim bait head, which one of the reasons it makes it really good is because it has that screw keeper. That's going to hold your bait a whole lot better. So if you're looking for a swim bait head that will you don't have to glue your a lot of the, so I had one I was throwing the other day, this old style, this bait's all chewed up, but I was having to glue, it's just got the barb keeper. You actually have to glue those to get them to keep, or otherwise they just pull down. So the screw lock is important.
And when the fish can tear it down, they're going to tear up more bait. So.
Yeah, so your baits are going to last longer. Plus the head of these hollow bodies from Smash Tech, they're solid, so it's going to really hold good in there.
Hey, he's humble, but let me tell y'all, that is the hollow belly. Out of all the hollow belly, whatever you call it, out of all the hollow body swim baits out there, that's the one you want. That solid head is more durable. It has a different action. The whole body wiggles more. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but that's the one.
Yeah. So, like I said, and we fish out here. Like I said, I will make a cast any spot I go to that's a deep spot, and anywhere that you're fishing, that you would normally throw a jig, a Carolina rig, a big worm. The only limitation is timber and stuff like that. I won't throw it around a lot of timber because you're just going to get hung up a lot. So that's the only drawback to the open hook. But if I'm fishing stuff like this, we've been fishing today, which is deep shell beds, humps, a little scattered rock here and there. Maybe there might be a stump or two. You're going to get hung up every now and then, but that's just part of it. Most of the time you can go over to it, get over it, and get it off. They come in different weights, all the way from like 1/4 ounce, I think, little 1/4 ounce heads, which if you're fishing you know, say 10 foot or less, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes they like that slower fall. I've gotten to where, you know, I used to fish a 3/4 ounce head religiously. I've actually gotten to where I've gone to a 1/2 ounce a lot with these smaller 4.5 inch, just because the hook size on this 1/2 ounce 6-cent head really matches up with the size of that bait really well. Now if I'm going to say one of the 6-inch hollow bodies, I'm gonna step it up to a 3/4 or 1 ounce, just because you've got that extra reach. If you can see, like I said, that matches up to that a whole lot better than if you were going to try to put it on a 1/2 ounce head, to where you're just not going to have much bite. Plus, this bait is going to fall a lot slower, just because there's a lot more surface area, the tail's bigger, and it's going to kick and have more resistance on the way down. Because of this 1 ounce swim bait head has an 8/0 hook, which, you know, you need at least a 7 or 8/0 hook for these 6-inch hollow bodies, because that's a lot of plastic. So as you see, that's where it's going to come out. It's perfect. A lot of these bigger body swim baits, you know, you can find a lot of swim bait heads that aren't going to have, you know, a big enough hook. Like that's a long shank, big bite hook. So you're going to get good hook sets in it. Now when this bait falls, you know, whether it be the smaller one or the bigger one on a heavier jig head, instead of it just dying and falling down, it's actually going to kick all the way to the bottom. So when you throw it out there, the way I've been catching them lately is just throw it out there, let it go to the bottom. Sometimes they're hitting it on the way down. You know, you'll actually get in situations where you'll sit there and be waiting for it to hit bottom, and your line will jump, and you'll go ahead and set the hook. But once it hits bottom, I'm just reeling it really slow, and I'm ticking the tops. You know, I'm trying to reel slow enough. It's not a real fast presentation. You try to reel slow enough to where you're ticking the tops of either the rock, the shell beds, or just the bottom. And sometimes they'll try to rip the rod out of your hand. Other times you'll just feel a little tick. But just like when you're fishing, you know, shallow swim baits, you don't want to just pull it away from them. You know, let them load up on it. And another thing is, I will actually go to a lighter rod. You know, as far as action, I'll actually go to like a medium heavy, to where normally if I'm fishing this shallow in grass and stuff like that, I will step up to a heavy, you know, with the belly weighted hook, because you've got to get the hook through the plastic, you've got to get them out of grass, you know, you're fishing around timber and stuff like that. You need more backbone to get them out of there. Well, deep, and as sharp as these hooks are, all you've got to do is, like I said, once they load up on it, you just pull into them real good, and usually they're not going to come unbuttoned. So I will actually go to a little bit softer rod to allow them to get the bait a little better. Like I said, a lot of people have always asked about, you know, they think they come out here with a big huge swim bait rod to throw a swim bait out deep. Well, you know, kind of like you know, spoons and stuff like that. You don't take a broomstick rod and throw a spoon, and you know, a lot of your deep water stuff is like that. You're to where you're not really just cracking them, you're pulling into them with these open hooks. A few of the other ways to fish these, and they can be really good, and you experiment throughout the day. Like I said, a steady retrieve will get bit a lot of times. Sometimes they won't hit the steady retrieve. There's times when those fish will be suspended, and you can use a steady retrieve and just count it down. You know, you can kind of, just a rough guess is usually around a foot a second. But you know, if you know how deep you're sitting, you can kind of count down and then base off that. You know, so if you've got a bunch of fish that you know are suspended chasing bait, you can count it down to 10 foot, you know, over 20 foot of water, throw it out there, you know, let it sink about 8 or 10 seconds, and then start your retrieve. And it'll keep it up in that water column. You know, the great thing about a swim bait, you know, the water doesn't have to be as clear as people would think, you know, especially this deep stuff, because these hollow bodies put out so much vibration that these fish can find them. You know, they're used to following shad and stuff that aren't making noise, and they're not making as much vibration as these hollow bodies are, so they can find them out there in 20, 25 foot of water, no problem. Another way to fish them is actually, you know, a lot of people used to do it with, you know, they do it with a spoon, they do it with a jig, is throw it out there and stroke it. And every time you rip that swim bait off the bottom, it's going to shoot up and then flutter back down. Shoot up and flutter back down. A lot of times when you rip it up and it starts fluttering back down, that's when they'll hit it. So I've caught them like that, and I've actually caught them a lot out here at this lake, throwing it out there and just fishing it almost like you would a jig, just hopping it, you know, just short hops, and they'll just pick it up off the bottom and start swimming off with it. So, like I said, if I'm fishing in the summertime, it's hot. If I only had 2 rods on my deck, it would be, you know, a Carolina rig and some form like I said, of a 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce jig head with a hollow body swim bait. Now, you don't have to, just throw hollow bodies. It works with, like we've got a smash minnow that is a solid body, and they rig up real well, but they're not going to put out near the vibration. It's just a completely different look. It's mostly a tail tip. So, like I said, these will work several different ways.
There he is! Got him! Got him, man! I would say pull that bait out and show them, but it's right there. Look at it. It just looks gorgeous.
We didn't have to touch it. It was already posed for it. Weird to stick your hand in monocella in the summertime and it actually
feels cool. Them fish still got just as much fire as they've always had, though, don't they? There you go, guys. Really want to thank Heath Taylor for coming on here and talking to us. I mean, that guy, he spent more time and building them and fishing them and just knows more about swim baits than anybody else I know in the world. And he's an excellent fisherman, as you guys can see from those clips right there. But try that out. It's something that I probably haven't done near as much as I should, but it is a tremendous way to catch really big fish. As you saw, the one he caught was an absolute stud in the heat of summer when the bite can be kind of tough. Hey, those baits, hollow bellies, are linked right below, smashtechbaits.com. Check that link out. The 6 Sense Divine swim bait jig heads are at 6sensefishing.com. That's linked below as well. If you want to purchase some of those, be sure and use that code Your Lake Fork Guide on the checkout screen. You'll get a 10% discount on all your orders for 6 cents. We really appreciate you guys watching today. We hope this helps you catch more and bigger summer bass. And we'll see you guys next time right here on Your Lake Fork Guide.